You've seen the chart. You've read the blog posts. It's plastered across every Reddit thread, TikTok loop, and YouTube thumbnail. 743 PSI. It's a beautiful, terrifying number. It places this Turkish guardian above the gray wolf, above the jaguar, and comfortably ahead of the African lion's 650 PSI. It is the ultimate metric used to crown the Kangal as the undisputed king of canine pressure. But there is a slight problem with this legendary statistic. It is a complete, unadulterated lie. If you trace the origin of this claim, you won't find a peer-reviewed veterinary study. You won't find a laboratory test involving a standardized pressure transducer. In fact, if you dig through the academic literature, you discover that no scientific institution has ever officially measured a pure Sivas Kangal's bite force on professional equipment. So, where did the number come from? It was a math error, a translation mistake born in the dark corners of early dog forums and copied by lazy content creators until it became an internet gospel. The actual verified scientific baseline for canine jaw force is measured in newtons, not pounds per square inch. When researchers actually tested large working dogs, the highest voluntary bites recorded maxed out around 743 newtons. The legendary 743 PSI myth was created by someone who didn't know the difference between a unit of force and a unit of pressure, completely multiplying the dog's actual capabilities by 4 to create a viral sensation. But before the purists in the comment section start losing their minds, let's look at the actual physics of skull architecture. If you have not watched our in-depth structural analysis differentiating the true Sivas Kangal from its colossal cousin, the Oxare Malakli. As we explained in that analysis, bone density and physical leverage dictate the absolute threshold of power. A standard canine bite force scales directly with two variables, total body mass and skull geometry. The Sivas Kangal is a masterpiece of open-range territory defense, but it scales between 55 and 65 kilograms. Its skull is mesocephalic, built for a calculated balance of speed, respiratory endurance, and clamping grip. It is engineered to chase down and neutralize wolves at 50 kilometers per hour. A dog cannot violate the laws of biophysics. To physically generate a genuine 743 pounds per square inch of pressure, a canine would require the deep masseter muscle volume and massive heavy skull structure of a 90-kilogram English Mastiff or an Oxare Malakli, a physical scale that the agile Kangal simply does not carry. And yet, the irony of the internet's obsession with this fake number is that the Kangal does not need a fabricated statistic to be extraordinary. Its true power is not a magical pressure number on a graphic. It is a dense cortical skeletal framework designed to absorb massive kinetic collisions, a highly protective double coat that slides to neutralize throat grips, and an unyielding territorial psychology that has successfully defended flocks from apex predators for thousands of years. The 743 PSI stat is a myth, but the dog behind the myth remains entirely untouchable. The science is clear. Do you value the raw reality of skeletal physics, or do you prefer the comfort of a viral lie? Drop your anatomical analysis in the comments section below, hit that subscribe button, and join us as we continue to dissect the true anatomy of power. This is Wild Facts. Over 300,000 people debated our initial breakdown of this matchup. The comments section devolved into a predictable tribal war. On one side, purists claim the ultimate livestock guardian is entirely untouchable. On the other, advocates back the absolute, unyielding gameness of the Western gladiator. But the algorithm doesn't care about emotional bias, and neither does physics. When you isolate the skeletal frameworks of the Sivas Kangal and the true American Pit Bull Terrier, you discover a matchup that completely defies standard predatory logic. This is not a question of which dog is more aggressive. It is a calculated analysis of mass efficiency, mechanical leverage, and respiratory economics. Let us examine the raw data. We begin with the sheer physics of scale. A pure Sivas Kangal operates at a massive structural advantage, scaling between 55 and 65 kilograms. It is an apex guardian engineered for open-range territorial defense. Its long bones are dense, built to absorb the immense kinetic trauma of full-speed collisions with apex wolves. Crucially, the Kangal's broad cranial geometry delivers an independently verified clamping force of 743 psi. This is a structural vice specifically designed to fracture bone on initial impact. Combined with a sprinting velocity of 50 kilometers per hour, the Kangal functions as a high-speed kinetic weapon. It relies on its immense size to physically crush its opponent's center of gravity within the opening seconds of a dispute. But cross the Atlantic, and you meet an animal built under entirely different architectural rules, the American Pit Bull Terrier. Weighing merely 25 to 30 kilograms, it is vastly outsized on paper. To a casual viewer, the matchup seems absurd, but the pit bull's weapon is not mass. It is structural efficiency and an evolutionary anomaly known as gameness. Its lower center of gravity makes it incredibly difficult to knock off balance or pin down. While its bite force scales far lower than the Kangal's, at roughly 235 psi, its skull architecture features a massive, deep set of masseter muscles that allow it to clamp down and hold with relentless consistency, completely ignoring pain signals that would force any other canine to capitulate. When these two entirely distinct biological designs collide, the battlefield dictates the outcome. If you missed our previous breakdown analyzing how a heavyweight domestic frame like the Borbol utilizes a deep, lock-and-hold defensive matrix to neutralize the lethal high-velocity ambushes of wild big cats, click the video popping up on your screen right now to review the structural data. In a localized confrontation, the physics favor the giant. A 65-kilogram Kangal moving at high velocity possesses an explosive kinetic impact that a 30-kilogram dog simply cannot match. If the Kangal secures an immediate hold on the skull or spine, it can end the match instantly through sheer mechanical trauma. But what happens if the gladiator survives the initial storm? This is where the battle shifts from a contest of force into a war of respiratory economics. The pit bull is a masterpiece of lactic acid management. It does not tire, and it does not yield. If it successfully avoids a lethal structural bite from the Kangal's massive jaws, its low center of gravity allows it to burrow inside the guardian's reach, systematically attacking the limbs and throat. For the Kangal, this is an unfamiliar, exhausting style of warfare. It is bred to fight wolves that attempt to flee or slash and retreat. It is not designed for a relentless, close-quarters grappling match against an opponent that literally welcomes the trauma. As the minutes tick past, the Kangal's massive bulk begins to demand a heavy metabolic price. The data leaves us with a stark conclusion. In an open, high-impact terrain, the Kangal's overwhelming mass, lethal velocity, and record-breaking bite force allow it to dictate and dominate the asset. But in a prolonged, claustrophobic war of attrition, raw gameness threatens to overturn the physics of scale. The data is clear. Which architecture do you back to survive the clash? Drop your anatomical analysis in the comments section below, hit that subscribe button, and join us as we continue to break down the true anatomy of power. This is Wild Facts. Stay wild. The internet loves to pick an absolute winner. If you watch most animal videos online, they'll tell you that a wild big cat is an unbeatable killing machine, and that no domestic dog stands a chance against one. But out in the real world, where animals fight for survival, nature doesn't care about internet hype or playground arguments. When a 60-kilogram livestock guardian dog collides with a wild predator, the winner isn't decided by a ranking list. It comes down to a brutal reality of muscle, bone, and pure attitude. Today, we look at the real-world facts of what happens when these two titans meet. To understand how a giant dog can take down a big cat, we must look at how they are built differently. Wild cats like leopards, jaguars, and lions are built for explosive surprise attacks. Their primary weapons are sharp, hook-like claws, meant to grab, hold, and throw their target off balance, followed by a lightning-fast bite to the throat. Dogs, on the other hand, can't grab things with their paws. They were built for a totally different job, that is running long distances without stopping to wear their enemies down. But here's the wild fact. What the dog lacks in claws, it makes up for in raw jaw power. A massive guardian dog doesn't bite just to scratch or cut. It bites to clamp down and break bone. While a cat's jaw is built for speed, a giant breed has a massive head and thick neck muscles made to hold on and squeeze with relentless force. Look at matchups like an African lion crossing paths with a heavyweight African borbol. While a male lion is vastly superior in size, a battle-tested dog like the borbol packs an incredibly dense, heavy frame and an aggressive lock-and-hold bite style explicitly bred to anchor dangerous threats. That kind of bone-crushing pressure can easily disrupt a cat's lighter, more agile skeleton. The second major factor is the mental game, and this is where the survival rules of the wild actually give the dog a massive advantage. A solitary big cat hunts to eat. In the brutal rules of the wilderness, a single injury can mean death. If a cat gets a deep cut or a broken paw, it can no longer stalk prey, which means it starves. Because of this, wild cats are incredibly cautious. They don't fight for pride, they fight for an easy meal. If a fight gets too risky, they back off. The guardian dog, however, thinks completely differently. Take the ultimate guardians of Turkey, the Sivas Kangal and the broad-framed Anatolian Shepherd. Western circles often group them together. Kangal is a faster, leaner wolf killer engineered for pure speed on the open steppe, while the Anatolian Shepherd carries massive bone density, meant to withstand a direct, crushing assault. Bred for centuries to protect their family and livestock, these dogs are naturally calm until a predator crosses the line. Once that boundary is breached, they don't care about their own safety. They turn into an unstoppable wall of protective fury. When a leopard or a cougar realizes that the dog isn't running away, but is instead charging straight at them like a freight train, the cat's instincts scream at it to save its own skin and retreat. And in a real-world fight, making your enemy run away is the definition of winning. But let's look at the world exactly as it is, not just a simulation. In the places where these animals actually cross paths, humans have given guardian dogs a secret weapon that completely ruins the cat's favorite attack. Enter the yaka, the heavy spiked iron collar worn by working guardian dogs. This simple piece of armor changes everything. When a big cat leaps from the shadows, it goes straight for the throat to choke its prey. But instead of soft fur, the cat's mouth slams directly into sharp iron spikes. Instantly losing its best attack, the cat is forced into a messy, close-quarters brawl against an opponent that is heavier, has better cardio, and is literally bred to take a beating without quitting. Without its signature throat bite, the cat's plan completely falls apart. So, can a giant dog defeat a wild big cat? The real science says yes, not because the dog is a better hunter, but because it is a superior defender. The cat plays a game of stealth and survival. The dog plays a game of absolute, unyielding defense. And when those two forces collide, the dog's iron willpower and human-made armor regularly smash the myth of the unbeatable cat. Nature doesn't care about looking graceful. It rewards the side that refuses to back down. But what if this matchup was against the hyena? Well, that would be a different story altogether. Cast your votes below and let us know if we should make a video on that. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to join the channel. Can you spot the difference? To the untrained eye, they are simply giant dogs. Casual observers look at the vast expanse of Asia Minor and lump every flock guardian into one generic Western box, the Anatolian Shepherd. But to the shepherds of Sivas, the breeders of Aksare, and the nomadic tribes of the Eurasian steppe, that label is not just a generalization. It is a historical inaccuracy that erases centuries of distinct functional breeding. Look closely at these three giants. One is a living legend built for endurance. Another is a heavyweight colossus engineered for pure physical dominance. The third is an ancient tribal warrior. Today, we break the Western illusion, correct the record, and dissect the definitive truth of Turkey's true apex guardians. For decades, international kennel clubs grouped the diverse livestock guardian lineages of Turkey into a single umbrella classification. This oversight sparked intense, justified resistance from regional purists who understand that geography dictates anatomy. The true Sivas Kangal is not a generic land race. It is an isolated, closed bloodline treasure originating from the Sivas province, forged by the harsh, high-altitude winters and blistering summers of the Anatolian plateau. To confuse a Kangal with an Aksaray Malakli or a Central Asian Alabai is to ignore the strict environmental and geopolitical necessities that created them. These breeds did not evolve as companions. They were sculpted by pastoral survival, wolf predation, and the relentless demands of protecting livestock across treacherous terrain. To understand their divergence, we must analyze their structural engineering. The Kangal is a masterpiece of athletic endurance. Its cranial structure features a moderate stop, a tight black mask, and dropped ears, supported by a jaw capable of delivering immense pressure without sacrificing speed. Its double coat consists of a dense, insulating undercoat and a harsh outer layer, allowing it to survive sub-zero temperatures on the mountain slopes. The chest depth is profound, yet the body remains agile, enabling the dog to run at speeds up to 50 kilometers per hour to intercept apex predators. In stark contrast stands the Aksaray Malakli, the Turkish Mastiff. Originating from the Aksaray region, this giant possesses a significantly heavier bone structure and massive cranial volume. The defining feature is the lips. Malakli refers to the pendulous, heavy jowls that drop below the jawline. The Malakli sacrifices the long-range pursuit capabilities of the Kangal for sheer, devastating close-quarter power. Its chest is wider, its front legs slightly bowed under immense muscle mass, and its overall displacement is built to anchor down and overpower any threat through absolute physical leverage. Because of this colossal size, a question constantly dominates the historical and modern debate. How do these guardians hold up against the absolute apex predators of the wild? If you missed our previous breakdown where we analyzed whether a massive heavyweight giant like the Aksaray Malakli possesses the raw power, bite force, and combative leverage to actually defeat a big cat like a lion in a defensive engagement, make sure to check it out. To complete this regional matrix, one must look across the Caspian Sea to the Central Asian Shepherd, the Alabai. While sharing an ancient Molosser ancestry with the Turkish bloodlines, the Alabai evolved under different tribal realities. Its skull is broader, almost bear-like, lacking the distinct refinement of the Kangal's head profile. Functionally, while the Kangal operates as an active, wide-ranging patrol guardian that actively hunts down wolves, and the Malakli serves as a localized powerhouse deterrent, the Alabai is a territorial fortress. Its thick skin, immense fat layer, and heavy coat are built for brutal, sustained combat against large predators like the Caspian tiger in antiquity, and wolves across thousands of open miles. Each dog represents a specific solution to a specific ecological threat. The preservation of these distinct lineages is not mere vanity. It is the safeguarding of living historical monuments. When Western structures minimize these differences, they risk diluting centuries of dedicated, functional breeding. Now, we want to hear from the purists, the historians, and the breeders in our community.